The clock ticked ominously in the corner of room 204. The sound, steady and relentless, was the only thing breaking the heavy silence as the students of Westfield High filed in. The tension in the air was suffocating, thick with something unspoken yet deeply felt. Miss Roberts stood at the head of the class, her sharp eyes scanning the room like a hawk searching for its next prey. Her presence, cold and commanding, sent shivers through the students' spines. No one dared to speak out of turn. No one dared to challenge her. And then, the door creaked open. Jasmine King stepped in. Her entrance was unassuming, but the shift it caused was seismic. Whispers rippled through the classroom, subtle yet electric. Miss Roberts's lips curled into a tight smile, a predator's smile, as she locked eyes with the new student. "Ah, our new addition," Miss Roberts said, her voice dripping with faux warmth. "Welcome to my class. Let's see if you can keep up." Her words hung in the air, a challenge and a warning rolled into one. Jasmine met her gaze, unflinching, her calm demeanor masking the storm brewing within. The class discussion began. The topic? To Kill a Mockingbird. A story about justice, oppression, and courage. But for Jasmine, the irony of the moment was almost unbearable. When Jasmine raised her hand to contribute, Miss Roberts's eyes slid past her as though she were invisible. "Anyone else?" the teacher called, her tone sharp and dismissive. Finally, Miss Roberts relented, her smile more of a sneer. "Yes, Miss King. Do enlighten us." Jasmine spoke, her voice steady. "The novel highlights systemic racism and—" "Systemic racism?" Miss Roberts interrupted, her tone mocking. "Let's not bring modern politics into classic literature, shall we?" A ripple of unease passed through the room. The silence was deafening, and the students shifted uncomfortably in their seats. By the next day, Miss Roberts's hostility had escalated into outright targeting. Every move Jasmine made was scrutinized, every word twisted into an offense. When Jasmine wasn't speaking, she was ignored. When she tried to contribute, she was mocked. "Is that gum I see you chewing?" Miss Roberts snapped, her voice sharp enough to slice through steel. "No, Miss Roberts, Jasmine started. "Don't lie to me," the teacher barked. The entire class watched in stunned silence as Jasmine, maintaining her composure, walked to the trash can and mimed spitting out gum that didn't exist. The final blow came during a group project presentation. Jasmine's analysis of To Kill a Mockingbird was meticulous, her arguments supported with detailed evidence. Yet Miss Roberts interrupted her at every turn, her tone dripping with disdain. "I'd appreciate it if you could speak clearly," Miss Roberts said, her words cutting like a blade. "Not everyone can understand certain dialects." A collective gasp echoed through the room. Jasmine's hands clenched at her sides, but she held her ground. The next day, the classroom door opened with a bang. Footsteps, sharp, deliberate, echoed in the hallway before a figure stepped inside. It was Mr. King. The air in the room changed immediately. His presence radiated authority, his expression calm but resolute. "Miss Roberts," he said, his voice steady but with an edge of steel, "may I have a word?" The teacher, oblivious to the storm brewing around her, plastered on a saccharine smile. "Of course, Mr. King. What's this about?" Outside the classroom, the conversation turned into a reckoning. Mr. King's questions were pointed, his tone unyielding. "Tell me," he said, his voice cold, "why you believe Jasmine isn't suited for your class." Miss Roberts faltered. "Well, her background might not align with our standards," she said, her voice wavering. "Her background?" Mr. King repeated, his tone laced with disbelief. "What exactly do you mean by that?" Miss Roberts laughed nervously, the realization dawning too late. "Oh, I didn't mean anything by it." Mr. King's voice dropped to a dangerous calm. "I know, because Jasmine is my daughter." Back in the classroom, whispers erupted like wildfire. Students exchanged stunned glances, their faces pale with the realization of what had just unfolded. Mr. King returned, standing tall at the front of the room. His voice, calm yet commanding, cut through the murmurs. This is not just about one teacher's prejudice. It's about the values we stand for as a school. He turned to Miss Roberts, his gaze icy. Your actions are unacceptable, and they will have consequences. The aftermath was swift and decisive. Miss Roberts was removed from her position, her reputation in ruins. Jasmine, once a target, became a beacon of resilience and courage. The story of what happened in room 204 spread across the school like wildfire, sparking conversations about justice, inclusion, and the importance of standing up against injustice. As Jasmine walked down the hallways, heads turned, and students smiled. For the first time, she felt seen, not just for her strength, but for the change she had inspired.